Mr. Kappan, tell me what you want to say about the allegations against you.
Hmm.
Then really was in tears. Of course, bold and strong, not that way. He clearly told me that this is an issue concerning UAPA is an issue concerning the safety, security, integrity of the country, and I will be the last person to do that.
Yes.
And to show my innocence, I'm even ready to go to the extent I'm ready to go for narco analysis tests.
Today, we're talking about a very important case. We're talking about Siddique Kappan, a journalist who made headlines after he was arrested on 5th of October last year, along with
Right.
3 other people, while he was on his way to Hathras in Uttar Pradesh, where a young Dalit girl was gang raped and then she died. Now, Kappan was charged with sedition, UAPA, and very recently a money laundering case. To discuss this case in detail, we're in conversation with Siddique Kappan's lawyer, Wills Mathews. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time and speaking to me.
It's my pleasure.
So, my first question would be, if we start from the beginning, Kappan was arrested on 5th of October, as I mentioned, when he was going to Hathras to cover the tragic gang rape and death of a young Dalit woman. Now, that is when the Uttar Pradesh police arrested him and slapped him with some very serious charges, as I mentioned, the UAPA, sedition, and other charges. Now, on what basis do you think were these charges filed? Because if we go by the Uttar Pradesh police's version, Siddiqui and others were trying to create unrest and trying to create communal riots in Uttar Pradesh. If so, what and where is the evidence?
Well, he was arrested on 5th of October 2020 at around 10 a.m.
Yes.
And the offenses were under IPC, that also bailable offense.
Okay.
So as a matter of right, he was entitled to bail. That is number one. But unfortunately, he was not released. And more than that, the mandatory guidelines of the Honorable Supreme Court in D.K. Basu versus State of West Bengal were also not complied, resulting in a situation on the next day, that is 6/10/2020. We approached the Honorable Supreme Court of India by way of a writ of habeas corpus. The reason for the habeas corpus is this: whenever there is non-compliance of the specific directions of the Honorable Supreme Court, every citizen is having a right to approach either in the Supreme Court under Article 32 or in the High Court under Article 226 for his release.
Okay.
And in this case, the petitioners were the Kerala Union of Working Journalists. Because as far as this Kerala Union of Working Journalists are concerned, because that is the Delhi chapter, and he was the General Secretary of this association also.
Yes.
So once the Kerala Union of Working Journalists came to know about this arrest, more than that, non-compliance of the directions of the Honorable Supreme Court, we felt it that the right remedy, the proper remedy is in the Supreme Court for one more reason. The other reason is this: it is not just the case of Mr. Siddique Kappan. It is also the arrest of the journalist or the media, a person going to report a case and arrested without the due process of law. That is the reason we approached the Supreme Court. That is initial starting. Yeah.
Absolutely. So very recently, the Enforcement Directorate also alleged that Kappan had raised funds for the CA protests in the national capital and the Delhi riots. What do you have to say about these charges? Do you think these charges are being filed to ensure that Kappan remains in jail?
Say, whenever the state is coming with a story, there is always presumption that that is correct, because we are all citizens of the country, and whenever state is coming with a picture, say a statement, this happened, we are bound to believe, and we should not doubt the discredit it. But in this case, what happened is this: the first version of the state, we answered it, that is not maintainable. Then they are coming with a second version. We also contradict it with the evidence and other details. Then they are coming with another 3 story. That means, frankly speaking, as a citizen of this country, and of course, as the lawyer of Mr. Siddique Kappan, I'm not happy with the events leading to, I'm not all about everything, but as far as the events leading to his arrest, it was totally against the due process of law. That is my feeling. Yeah.
Yes. Sir, initially Kappan was not allowed to meet his lawyer, and then it took a lot of time for the court to grant him bail to meet his mother who was on her deathbed. Why do you think was he deprived of basic rights that should have been granted to him?
Okay, well, as far as whatever may be the offense, assuming the allegations against Mr. Kappan is correct, even then, his right to meet the lawyer is a basic inherent fundamental right.
Right.
And as far as this case is concerned, on 6th of October itself, we approached the Supreme Court. Then the Supreme Court suggested, I think it was taken on 12th of October. Then senior advocate Mr. Kapil Sibal was arguing this case.
Yes.
And at that time made a statement to the effect, why can't you go to the High Court? Then strictly speaking, we are bound to go to the High Court because for the purpose of bail, we are bound to approach the lowest court of competent jurisdiction. But in this case, because of larger issues involved, I mean, the larger issues means the freedom, the freedom of the media. We suggested to approach the Constitutional Court, that also the Apex Court, this. Then just for the purpose of thinking what is the real issues involved, because we don't know. While he was on the way to reporting, he was arrested. What are the events leading to his arrest? Because without that, even we cannot say he is innocent. Because first, you have to have a conference with the client. He will say, "Aise ho gaya, nahi aise ho gaya." Then only we can give some statement also, because we cannot talk in the air. Being the situation, what happened is this: I think on 16th of October, I have been to Madura courts before the learned CJM. I filed an application there. Then they stated that the court staff, because of this COVID-related issues, court is also functioning on VC. They said that you go to the jail. Then I have been to the jail. Then what happened is this: the jail authorities said that they should get an order from the court. Then immediately return back to the CJM court. Then as I have given to the court master, then I think it was around 12:45. Then they told me to come after lunch. Then 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
There has
nothing
been
is
a
happening.
consistent delay, I think.
Yeah, nothing is happening. So I was waiting because I am coming all the way from Delhi to that court. This required hardly 30 seconds. Because even without reading, once looking at the cost title of the application, मुलाकात application बोलते हैं हिंदी में, नहीं ये तो application for meeting the accused. Signature of the wakil. Maximum they can check is whether there is wakalatnama. In case of difficulty wakalatnama, considering that, nothing more than that. There is no need of application of mind even. But it was rejected, and the grounds for rejection was also not legally correct. Then you see, according to the law of the land, we have go to the Sessions Court, from there to the High Court, then to the Supreme Court. Because we should bring these facts to the attention of the Constitutional Court, because it is a guardian of the Constitution. This is happening in India, a country governed by the rule of law. So we immediately filed an application before the Supreme Court. I also filed an affidavit. The reason for me as an officer of the court, whenever there are some serious illegalities going on within the territories of India, it is my duty to bring it on record. Because I found that a lot of inmates were crying, they were not wearing masks, and overall, I found a lot of illegalities. Being so, I filed an affidavit also supporting that. Then at that time, the Solicitor General made a statement to the effect that there is no problem. They will allow the accused to meet the lawyer. Next day itself, I have gone to the jail, and they were very cooperative. Otherwise, also, I have only good opinion about the jail, I have to say. That jail, because of they were treating very well and fairly to Mr. Siddique Kappan. That is what I see, and they were also dealing in because jail is not a place for, punishing. It is just like a guest house of the state. They are only co-accused. They are only accused. They are not convicted persons or anything like that. So in effect, we should deal with jail as a guest house of the state. They should be given all the privileges like reading, whatever may be. But there it is pathetic. But Madura jail is comparatively better. That only I can say.
So,
in the state of UP.
Contrary to this, I think there have been several reports, as alleged by the Kerala Union of Working Journalists also, that Kappan was beaten, I think thrice, and subjected to mental torture during custody. Would you elaborate on this?
Okay. Really, I had my meeting, first meeting, I think it was on 16th of October, and the jail authorities provided all the facilities, and then I said, you can be here, no problem at all, because we don't want to hide anything, but still the senior officials, the jail superintendent say, he's a lawyer and he's a client, both of them want to discuss something, they should be given the privacy. I mean, they were so vigilant and so honorable, I have to say like that, because they were very dignified.
Absolutely.
Then I asked a question to Mr. Siddique Kappan, because Mr. Kappan, tell me what you want to say about the allegations against you. Then really was in tears. Of course, bold and strong, not that way, because of other personal issues like his mother is age 90, he could know other critical issues and everything. Then he clearly told me that this is an issue concerning UAPA, is an issue concerning the safety, security, integrity of the country, and I will be the last person to do that. And to show my innocence, I'm even ready to go to the extent I'm ready to go for narco analysis tests or any other scientific test publicly. Because you see, a person cannot be compelled or directed to undergo narco analysis test because of other issues, constitutional issues. But he here is coming forward and giving a statement to the effect that between my fundamental right and the interest of the state will prevail over my fundamental right. You see? But nothing is happening. Stories after stories are coming. And at a situation, everybody thought that he has done something mischief. Anyway, ultimately, I'm sure that the truth will come out. That's what I can say.
So there have been multiple allegations of Siddique Kappan's involvement with the PFI, the People's Front of India, which the government claims is trying to divide the country. What do you think about that?
Number one, first thing is, I don't know, because as far as PFI, no idea at all. They are not my clients. So my client is Kerala Union of Working Journalists, number one. Number two, of course, Siddique Kappan, I mean, then his wife also. I mean, three parties, I can say. Then legally, see, PFI is not a banned organization. Still, I asked the question, are you connected with the PFI or not? The answer that I got is that he is nowhere connected with that. He is an independent, impartial, fearless journalist. If any evidence against me, bring it on record. That was his statement. And you see, once we are talking, and ultimately, generally speaking, I believe that the body language will not lie.
Absolutely.
Because that is in the cross-examination also, even in court also. From the way his tone, his emotions, his body language, I can say only this much. Whatever he stated, I believe that he's totally innocent. Totally innocent. That is my reading. I can say. Because in case he found he is guilty, I need not give any comment on that. Because you see, I'm first and foremost, I'm an officer of the court. Then only the mouthpiece of the client. Why should I tell a lie? Simple. I can ignore that question. I don't know. I can say like that. I'm telling. I'm sharing my thoughts. Only that. That's all.
So when we look at charges like the UAPA or NSA, and even if we don't talk about Siddique Kappan's case, in various other cases also, the government has charged people with such stringent anti-terror laws. Do you think the government is misusing it or trying to curb voices? Because in the case of Siddique Kappan, as we see it, he was just doing his duty as a journalist. Do you think the government is trying to stop that?
My feeling is this: if the police want to put a person behind the bars for 15 years or 20 years or 25 years, even IPC is enough. I'm saying so. I'm sharing my experience. There was the case of one Prempal Singh from Delhi. It is in the net also. Prempal Singh versus Commissioner of Police. He was implicated in repeatedly in 22 cases. One after the moment he was out, he was again caught. And that is the first case in which we got a compensation of around 7.8 lakhs or something. He is no more. Most of the time he spent in the jail.
Yes.
Because especially, for example, for an ordinary person, he has to meet a lawyer, he has to pay his fees, he is not going for work, he cannot have food for his family members. Majority of the people are socially and economically weaker sections of the society.
Yes.
Assuming that we are having all other facilities like legal aid and everything, ultimately, because there is no job every day. If anybody is in a job, I mean, maybe getting 500, 700 or 800, he's not getting that job. He cannot go for, he's taking leave for 2 days. He will not get that job continuously. There are so many basic inherent effects. But in this case, I'm telling about Mr. Prempal Singh versus
Yes.
NCT of Delhi. Just in various IPC offenses, including 376, Arms Act, TAD, and everything, he was in the jail almost for 5,700 days in a period of 15 to 20 years. His wife was also in the jail for over 700 days. But in UAPA, the provisions are stringent. So what I want to say is this: people think that because of UAPA, there are so many problems. But my feeling is that what matters is not the law. What matters is how it is used. It is just like nuclear energy.
Yes.
Anybody can say that nuclear energy is bad. It is very good, but it can be misused. It can be used for creation and destruction. Just like that, when it comes to issues concerning the safety, security of the nation, it should be given utmost importance, no doubt at all. The intention of UAPA is perfect. I cannot say against that because ultimately we are nobody to comment on that. It is our legislators who made this law in the best interest of the country. We have to accept it gracefully, even if we have personal, enmity against this.
Yes.
So we are bound to accept it gracefully. But unfortunately, even without any evidence, when a person is targeted, fixed within the ambit and scope of UAPA, that is very unfair. So what I want to say is that UAPA is not necessary. Even in an IPC offense, a person can be put behind the bars for 25 years.
Yes.
That is happening. So ultimately, my feeling is this: I'm not against any law, but I'm only on the point of its execution. And frankly, I will tell you one thing. Even just recently, a person working in a multinational company, not an Indian big company, he was arrested in a rape charge. He was in the jail for 10 days. He was humiliated. Ultimately, we found that it is a false case. Then we filed a habeas corpus petition in the Supreme Court for the purpose of production of the complainant.
Yes.
Not available. Then we went to the High Court. It is pending in the Delhi High Court.
Yes.
Because it was totally a falsely implicated case. So what I want to say is this: if the police want to implicate a person behind the bars, there are so many opportunities. If they want, they can do it. And it is whatever may be the law, whatever may be the rule, whatever may be the repeated judgments of the Supreme Court or other constitutional courts, there is a lot of control to it, I can say. Not like as earlier, but still it requires serious, substantial changes. That is my feeling. That's what I can say.
Sir, in your opinion, what do you think has the role of the police, the state machinery, and the judiciary has been, especially in Siddique Kappan's case?
Frankly speaking, not only in Siddique Kappan's case, in all case, because it is a test, I can say, only that actually.
Yes.
If we are having an effective judiciary, effective in the sense, say there is an allegation against a person, there is a conclusion to that allegation, say in 1 year, 2 years, nobody will dare to implicate somebody in a false case. But here it is something like that. Nowadays in the Supreme Court, cases from UP as an SLP is coming after 25, 35 years. So in effect, there is only remedy. I also don't think we are in short of courts. I don't think that we are short of judges. I don't think that we are short of lawyers. I don't think that we are short of infrastructure, but we are lacking a will. That is, for example, I will tell you, you may ask why I am saying like that, because everybody is saying that we are short of courts, judges and everything.
Yes.
The same issue is debated in all the courts. wasting the time.
Absolutely.
Am I right or not?
Yes, sir.
The point is this: the same substantial question of law is debated in various high courts at the same time. I mean, we require some kind of systematic planning. I mean, then I think that even in 6 months' time, just put everything in order. In 6 months' time, the pendency of the cases will come down by 50%. I'm serious. I'm not joking because I'm here for the last 32 years.
Yes, sir.
I know the court is
Definitely, sir.
working and you,
There is a need to streamline it and organize it in a better way.
yeah, that is what I feel like that. I'm telling from and more than that, some 20 years back, I think I filed a case against the then Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, and that went for almost, I think, 16 years.
Yes.
And my Lord Justice Madan Lokur was a lawyer at that time representing Delhi High Court.
Yes.
And A.S. Chandiok, senior advocate, was representing me in that case because it was listed more than 75 or 80 times, and more than 3,000 staff were appointed in that case also. That is also there. So through that, I know how the court is working from the grassroots level, from the point of appointment, staff, rest of the things. So I'm just sharing my thought.
Absolutely.
There are ways to cut down the pendency, only that. If that was happened, definitely Siddique Kappan would not have been arrested. Because a person is falsely implicated and government is bound to pay a huge compensation, naturally, and making the person who arrested him responsible also.
Absolutely.
Then naturally nobody will dare to do any kind of illegality.
So
now nothing is happening.
When we talk about judicial proceedings, what do you think lies ahead for Siddique Kappan? And do you think this entire process has become a punishment for him?
Frankly speaking, nowadays what is happening is when a person is arrested, that will, it will be headlines, maybe, and trial may start after, I don't know, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. When it will be concluded, it may take 30 years, 40 years. If things are going like this, nobody can say anything. That is the present scenario.
Yes.
So about Siddique Kappan, for example, take the case of urea scam, because it was major headlines at that time.
Yes.
And when, of course, they are convicted, my client was also there, but he died in between.
Okay.
So what I want to say is this: the point is this: unless there is a finality in a time frame, if I put it differently, an expiry date for litigation. See, there is an expiry date for everything.
Yes.
If a citizen of the country feel that I am approaching the courts of law, I will get final justice. I'm not talking about trial court. I'm talking about at all levels.
Yes.
A final justice, say in 2 year time.
Yes.
For in 3 year time. The number of falsely implicated or frivolous cases will come down. Nobody will dare to take law in their own hands.
Yes.
The court will act as the guardian of the constitution. When the courts, they cannot work because cloaked with work, burdened with work.
Yes.
Then naturally, all these things are bound to happen. So the remedy lies in this: putting the judiciary in order. Judiciary in order means, a statement from the part of the court, at least from a day, you will get final justice in that kind of particular time frame. And to that, we don't want any other extra infrastructure. Whatever is enough, put it in order. And for example, I will tell you one thing. Even in the last 2 days, I finished 2 cases at the legal notice level instead of approaching the court. Because I told to the client, if you are going to the court, it will take years. Ultimately, I convinced my client and the opposite side, in the best interest of the country and in your best interest, this is what you should do. They fully agree and the matter is settled. 2 cases I'm telling in the last 2-3 days.
Yes. Absolutely.
So it should start from lawyers level. Lawyers are officers of the court. They should be given training how to settle the matter out of court. And if you are approaching the court, It should be only on the issues of the dispute between the parties. For example, I will tell you, nowadays a case is connected with the service matter of a prominent government hospital in Delhi, around 600 staff. It is going on for the last 7 years. I think I have used almost 25,000 papers for this.
Yeah.
Nothing. It is hardly a matter of 3 minutes. I mean, the issue involved, it is already covered by the judgment of the Allahabad High Court and judgment of the Delhi High Court. Then CAT is bound to follow that. Still, I don't know why we are getting date after date. I mean, I'm not blaming the honorable judges of the CAT.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
telling about the system only.
Yes.
They are all very fair, no doubt at all.
Yes, sir.
Please, yeah.
I think you've made some very important points, and I'd like to thank you for taking our time and speaking to me and also sharing the details of Siddique Kappan's case. Thank you so much, sir.
It is my pleasure. It is my pleasure. Thank you very much, Navya.